Hi everybody, this is Catherine, your favorite French Canadian. Today I'm going to show you how to boost your FPS in Final Fantasy XIV in 2021. So first of all, we're going to make sure that we optimize the windows properly and also your computer. And after that, we will go inside of the game. I will show you which parameter will give you boost and which one you should keep at whatever medium, high, or ultra. So let's start with the game mode. It's an old game. Remove the game mode. It's causing stuttering in this game, and also you will lose FPS. So really important, the game mode, put this one at off. Make sure that your Xbox game bar also is at off. Sometimes it's causing stuttering. If you have issue with stuttering and your Xbox game bar is at on, it's probably because of it. Also, I recommend to disable like all the overlay that you're currently using, the one from Discord, AMD, Nvidia. Keep something like MSI Afterburner if you want to see your stats for temperature, FPS, and stuff like that. But don't go too crazy with those overlay. Also, the capture, make sure that your background recording is at off and recorded audio is at off. And that's about it for the capture. Another thing that I recommend, make sure that you update your drivers, so AMD, Nvidia, or even Intel if you have like an integrated GPU. Go on the Intel website. Don't just update your driver with the update driver from Windows. They will just give you like some driver to make sure that you have like the compatibility between your GPU and your monitor, but you will not have like optimized driver for video games. Another thing that I recommend is write GPU in your search bar, open the graphics setting. Make sure that the hardware accelerated GPU scheduling is at on. You will need to restart your computer to make sure that this change is applied. Really important to do it. And to have this option, you need the latest version of Windows 10, and also you need like an Nvidia card 1000 series or something more recent. I don't think it's currently available for AMD. It will give you like a 3-4% boost in your FPS for entry or mid-range computer, but if you have like a crazy high-range computer with like a 3080, you will not get the 3-4% boost for your FPS. One more thing, it's about the energy plan. If you're playing on a laptop, make sure that you don't play like in some like random like eco energetic plan or something like that. Make sure that you're using maximum performance or balance. So for an example, if your video card, just go in your setting, control panel. You can do this also with an AMD card. In manage 3D setting, go to power management mode and make sure that you have the prefer maximum performance here. And you can do the same thing for Windows, so for your CPU. You can write like energy plan and just like select the energy plan that you're currently using. If you have a Ryzen processor, you should have like a dedicated Ryzen plan. And if you don't have like a special plan for your computer, just select like balance from Windows or maximum performance. Normally they're almost the same, but don't use the eco whatever green one. You will lose like boost clock and boost clock for your CPU. So now let's go to Final Fantasy to optimize the game. When you launch the game, you can click on this setting over here and you will have an option called Directx 11 support. If you have like a recent computer that's I don't know, like 5 years and something recent, go with DirectX 11. It will be like better for your image quality, and also it run really smoothly. But if you have like a crazy old computer like 12 years ago, an old Dell Inspiron laptop, something like that, you can definitely test. Just put this one at off. It will maybe help you for the FPS. It really depends on your computer, like your GPU. But honestly, even DirectX 11 is kind of old, so you should not have any issue with it. But still, I just want to point this out. So now in the game, first of all, for the display setting, make sure that you have your video card over here. If you're using a desktop computer, you should not have any issue. But I know a lot of people with laptops sometimes have issue between like their dedicated GPU and the integrated video card. So really make sure that your main display is running on your video card. You have a drop down here, so just select the good one. For screen mode, I really recommend to play this game in full screen. I was losing FPS and I got a little bit of stuttering with borderless or window mode, so really important to use full screen. For resolution, I recommend to use the native resolution of your monitor and also select your amount of hertz. So for me, I'm playing 1080p because my screen is 1080p, and also I have 144 hertz. So that's why my preset is 144 hertz. So make sure that you select the proper one because by default mine was not good. After that, high resolution UI setting, just use the standard one, the HD one. 100%, just match your resolution over here. Don't go upscaling and stuff like that. You will lose performance. One more thing, the frame rate. For the frame rate, I recommend to use the frame rate that you're using with your refresh rate. So for me, I just use 141. You can anyway limit your frame rate if you want with a software like Nvidia or whatever, the one that you're using. But for me, I just locked it at 144 FPS. Now the graphic setting, you will see that a lot of different options over here, so we will start it. First of all, enable wet surface effect. I didn't see like a big improvement, or like maybe if you put everything at low and you still get like stuttering or mini lag when you're seeing like wet surface, probably because of that, but for me it didn't change anything. After that, make sure that disable rendering and the use low detail mode are checked, really important. The first parameter, the real-time reflection, put this one at off. I did a comparison between maximum and off, and I was getting like 6% boost for this one, so really important to put this one at off. The anti-aliasing, you don't have a lot of option in this game, so you just have like the FXAA, and for me, you're not losing too much FPS, and it's kind of nice to your image quality, so that's why I'm still keeping it. You can gain like 3% if you go at off, but for me, it's kind of important, so that's why I'm using it. Transparent lighting quality, this one is really important. If I compare normal to high, I'm getting like 4% boost at normal, so put this one at normal. Grass quality, parallax, occlusion, and tessellation, I recommend normal for those one. This one and this one. You will get like 2% for each one, so you will get like 6% boost for those three parameters. The glare, I didn't see a big difference between standard and off. It's like 1% boost, so that's why I still keep this one at standard. And it's pretty much with the map resolution, didn't see a big difference between high and normal. Now the shadow. This is like the part you will get like mostly your FPS, this and the physics. But for shadow, I really recommend if you're struggling with your FPS, put all of the shadows on self, party members, other NPCs and enemies at high. It will help you a lot. You can get like 7 to 10% boost just with this one. Also make sure that your shadow quality, use low detail model on shadow, and make sure that you're using the lowest one over here, that you put the shadow cascading at off and the shadow softening at weak. It will help you a lot. Another like 5 to 6% boost in your FPS over here. For the texture detail, it really depends of like what kind of like computer you're using. But if you're using like a mid-range computer for like the past like 4 or 5, even 5 years, if you have like 4 gig in RAM and more, you can't really go anisotropic with 16x. But if you're running like a 2 gig of VRAM and a really old video card, go with Trillionaire and 4x like this. Worst case scenario, if you're playing like on a really old computer, you can go with Billionaire, but I don't recommend this option. Movement physics, this one will give you a lot of FPS also. Like if you put everything at off, you can gain easily 8 to 10% boost in your FPS. So I recommend again off, you will gain a lot of FPS, and it's just movement physics. Not that bad honestly when you're playing an MMO like that. So this is pretty much what I'm using. For the effect, I recommend to uncheck this one. It really depends if you like it. As you can see here, you see the darkened edge. I don't like it, and I don't want any blur in my game, so that's why I uncheck this one. NPN inclusion. This one also can give you a lot of FPS, but it's more like it's taking a lot of resources for your computer. If you put quality versus off, you can gain like 7% boost in your FPS, so that's why this one I'm using off. I don't want any ambient occlusion. For sure, if you feel like your game is a little bit flat and you don't have like any depth in your graphic, you can definitely put some ambient occlusion that's strong and put a little bit of shadow, shadow over here. But for me, it's not a problem. For the glare, I'm going with normal. I didn't see a huge improvement with low or off. And water reflection, I'm using low. I saw an increase like a 3%. You're getting a 3% boost at low and 1% at off, so that's why I chose low, because 1% was not like a lot for me. So, and I want to keep some decent image quality. And the last one, the cinematic cutscene, I don't enable the depth of field. So this is pretty much it with the graphic parameter for the game. I run like a nice like 120 FPS when I'm in the open world, so it's really decent. If you have like a brand new computer, high-end computer, you will see that the game is not taking a lot of resources on your CPU or GPU. On my laptop, on my 4 core and 8 threads, it's taking a lot of resources, but on my Ryzen 3900X, I got like 11% usage when I play this game. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, don't freak out if your usage are not at max. So if you have any question about this optimization guide, just comment in the YouTube section, post me your rig, CPU, GPU, and RAM. I will try to help you the best that I can, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Peace.